Hey, true believers, it's ENGLENTINE here, and this is the last chapter I'm going to share from the live stream from the other day, and this is the one I was looking forward to the most because it was the question we got where it was, if you could write or pitch a story for any character, no matter what, DC, Marvel, Independent, whatever, what would you pitch? And everybody came up with some really cool stories, and I was really proud of this. And so we're joined here by Weaponized Nerd Rage. Captain Frugal's in there. We've got Comics Division. We have Chef Jack, of course. Mariasha joins us, as well as a gentleman named Wes Collins who just said, hey, can I pitch a story from the comment section? We're like, hey, let's bring him on. And he had a good time. We had a good time. And please, by all means, check everybody's YouTube channel out because they really do good videos and definitely could use the subs and deserve the views. Anyway, enjoy the stories.
We have another question, guys.
Huh?
For the panel, what Marvel hero do you feel you have a story worth telling? Not a what favorite hero would you want, but one character you feel you have a hook and makes sense.
I got it. Wait, for what?
Okay. Nerd, go first.
Wait, for Marvel or DC again?
It doesn't matter. What character?
Either one. What favorite character?
Oh,
go.
man, I got so many ideas, but I think it would be kind of cool if we had the Wonder Twins again.
You have, but do you have a story?
How would you use them? What story would you tell with them?
I don't know.
Like pitch a Wonder Twins story.
Yeah, you could now I'm just blanking out because I'm so scared. But
No,
okay. I mean, I got a concept for Amadeus show if that works too. That I've always
go on ahead.
Go for it.
Either one.
Amadeus show. So we all hate him because he's super smart, and super awesome, and super perfect, and whatever. You know, Mary Sue. Meanwhile, Bruce Banner has dealt with the cursed sin of this world, and so because of his curse, but except with Amadeus Cho it's not. Instead, we alter it. We finally make a reason why Amadeus Cho is so good at being the Hulk. It's because he hasn't hit puberty yet, and that with age the Hulks gain strong. That's when you start losing control, when you're super young. And that we also gather in something else where a government official starts following him, figures this out, and then we can have a whole entire thing where they're experimenting on orphan children, Hulklings, later on, and that'll be a weird crazy psycho story. But it's really about Amadeus Cho, and as he gets older, he brushes it off. He's like, you know, I'm pretty cool as the Hulk, because there was no reason for him to listen to Bruce Banner in the first place. So as he grows older, though, he starts activating the Hulk, and he can't get out of it. He can't stop, and it's like every Hulk's different depending on who you are, and his can't stop. He can't calm down until he defeats whatever has triggered it. And so he goes and attacks one of the champions, and that's what really makes him realize that he is not in the control. But everybody sees him go out of control like that. Everybody, because you know they're all like cell phone addicts or whatever with the champions. And so pretty much he has to go on the run because the government is now using this as an advantage, a smear campaign to say he needs to be locked up. All Hulks have to be locked up. So he goes on this adventure, and he starts saying, I regret everything. I should have listened to Bruce Banner. And so he starts researching all of Bruce Banner's notes and everything, because he suddenly realizes Bruce Banner was the stronger Hulk. When you age, as the older you get, the stronger you become. But somehow Bruce Banner could still hold back. There was a sliver of his humanity, no matter how crazy he went in the Hulk, that he could hold him back. And if he can figure out how, he may be able to fully put it into control. So, but Bruce Banner's dead or whatever. So he goes. So he's going through all the places where Bruce Banner used to hide and stuff, and he's looking for all his items, and he's researching all his notes, and it becomes this epic adventure of following in the footsteps of a man that had to go through the same ordeals yet brand new. And
that's good. And
yeah, and you give him his own Sergeant Ross. You give him this man that is just going to
see. I would read that, Amadeus Cho. How about you, Comics Division? Do you have a character in a story?
Sorry.
Yeah, but it kind of pales in comparison to Nerd Wonders. I've had a couple ideas toying around, same thing with Amadeus Cho, except his version of the Hulk is either a very different version of how Amadeus is, because right now it's like they're the same person. Where you have Amadeus being the very immature individual who calls himself the totally awesome Hulk, And the Hulk mode is like, I hate that name. I hate it so much. And he is kind of like this womanizer. He's a bit of an asshole. And everybody hates the Hulk for a different reason. It's because he's a jerk, not so much that he's like this big, I smash things. So that was my idea I had a while back, but I think Nerd Wonder totally trounces what I came up with.
I like yours though. It's like Booster Golds, except a Hulk.
Ooh, Frugal, do you have a character in the story?
I have absolutely nothing. I am a crappy writer.
Weaponized?
I'm a very boring, bookish.
That's cool. Yes, some people teach when they cannot do. Sorry, dude. How about you, Weaponized? What do you have a story and a character?
I put this up, and I'm trying to decide which one would be the better one to mention.
One second. Before you start. Nerd.
Yes?
Do you mind stepping out because Mariasha wants to tag in to tell a Booster Gold story he's got?
You want to know what? I gotta go to bed anyway. Let me go and log off. I'm gonna listen in there. So I just said my saying, we gotta put Mariasha in. He sounds like he's got a good one.
Yeah, he wants to tell his story, so I'm going to be
all right.
Thank
you guys for listening. Thank you very much for my Amadeus show. If you guys want to
and before you go,
about it.
Before you go, don't forget about tomorrow.
What's happening tomorrow again?
Tomorrow is
just some guy.
Just some guy.
Okay.
Yes.
What up, Frugal? When are we doing our stream?
I've got it listed on there. I've got a couple of.
Why haven't we done one, Nerd Rage? We always chat, but we never do one.
Yeah. For many reasons, it's just been hard to find the time lately.
No, I get you. All right. Well, I'm gonna head out and let's get Mariasha in because I want to listen to this.
And Frugal, not to put you on the spot, man. I was just screwing with you.
Oh no, you're on my list.
Frugal,
I've got a list of people.
Can you send the Google Hangout to Mariasha? Apparently, I don't have them here. I'm trying to type it in. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong. Send Mariasha the link.
I'll ping him. I'll ping him.
Do you have your character and story?
Yeah, it says it's only one character because I have an Avengers story that I'm really passionate about and working on, but for one character, I have this story where it follows this group of upstart thugs. Okay, they're the main characters in the story. All right, and they deal in all kinds of things. You know, they have aspirations of being the next Wilson Fisk, pretty much. They want to be the next super criminal in the Marvel universe, pretty much. And so, well, one day, one of them gets killed. They find him in the house, and he's all mutilated and everything. And they start thinking, who the hell did this? What the hell is going on? And they think it's a rival gang, blah, 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 blah. And they end up going to war with this rival gang, and they come out on top. But then the next day after the fact, then another one of them shows up in a forest, and he had been tied down and just killed by exposure. And the key to the lock on his neck was nailed to the tree just out of reach. And, one by one, these guys start falling off. And the last guy is finally like, okay, whatever, this is going to happen. I'm just going to go about business as usual. He's surrendered to the fact that this is going to happen. And so he goes into this warehouse, and he's getting ready for something. You see all these big metal crates and cages in there, and the whole room is black when you do this. But then, you see as he's walking, he turns the lights on. You do a panel shot where you have a long shot of him. He's fully in, but you see the corner of a boot in the panel. All right, and somebody's watching him, somebody's coming after him, and then the next panel is you see the guys on the there's a bit of a struggle in the shadows, the guys on the ground, and then so the guy asks, the guy in the shadows asks, is this all of them? Are they all here? And the guy's just like, trying to beg and plead for his life and whatnot, and he asks him again, are they all here? Guy finally answers yes, and hands the guy in the shadows the keys, and that's when you see, when he hands him the keys, there's a gun in this guy's hand. All you see is a black figure with the white skull on his chest. And it turns out what it is Frank Castle had caught wind to a group of people who were running a dog fighting ring and he wanted to take them out because, as we all know, he has a real big soft spot for dogs. Okay, and so then the rest of the story is after he takes care of the last guy is, you see like he takes one dog and leaves it on a doorstep for somebody, and like does it for one more person. But then the last one is that he actually sticks around and waits for is when he gets to this young girl and brings her dog back to this little girl. And the ending monologue for it is a war journal entry where he's talking about how did I cross the line with these people? Some people think I might have, but if they're able to do something like this to something as innocent as a young girl's best friend, what the hell would they do next week to a human being? And I always wanted to tell that Punisher story.
Damn.
Yeah. But because I love that character, and I always I think that you have to be a little demented to like Frank Castle, because he's kind of that character who is the manifestation of everybody's dark urges almost for revenge.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. How about you, Chef? You have an If I Wrote?
Actually,
you can toss off.
Actually, I'm already a 250,000 words into a story in which Power Girl finds herself in the Marvel Universe right around the time of the Civil War.
Well then.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I wrote this specifically for the purpose of trying to watch Tony Stark enforce his bullshit on a Kryptonian.
Yeah, because the Thor and the Sentry were conspicuously absent at the time.
Oh yeah,
Weren't they though?
Yeah.
Alrighty, how about
so
you,
was every
sir?
single mentalist in the Marvel Universe.
Moriyashi, you wanted to come in just to sell your booster gold.
Tag me in. I came up with this idea because I was watching do you guys remember the episode from Justice League Unlimited where Booster Gold is just trying to get the attention he wants? He only gets it from that one person, and that's enough for him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, excellent episode.
I was thinking, like, well, what if he finally got the recognition that he really wanted? Like, that he really wanted. And so, basically, the story would start off with Booster just taking down some major villain from, like, destroying a city. He does it through, like, pure luck or whatever. And so everyone finally knows his name. They hail him as this hero. And as the weeks and the months and the years go, not even years, just weeks and months go on, it all starts to weigh on him eventually. And it just starts to drag him down into this state to the point where he becomes an alcoholic. And that's going to play into a big part of it, where it's going to also be an exploration of his friendship with Ted Kord and his relationship with the League. Because as he starts to spiral and responsibility gets to him and he starts becoming an alcoholic and doing all this stupid shit, the League tries to distance themselves from him. But Ted Kord, Blue Beetle, is always like, hey, Booster, I'm here for you. If you need me, I'm here to help. And it would be an exploration of their friendship and what makes them such good friends now. Ted will always be there for him, even when Booster is at his worst. And what kind of turns him around is this moment with Ted, where they kind of have a fight, and Ted kind of just stops talking to him for a while, and it leaves Booster on his own. And the series would it would be like a mini series, and it would just talk about like what Booster would do in that scenario and how he would deal with his friend being gone. Because we've seen him deal with Ted being dead, but we've never seen him dealing with Ted just kind of leaving him. And like I would like to explore where the friendship would have to go to the point where they would literally separate, but what Booster would do to get it back beyond changing time, but what he could physically do there. Like him trying to shape up, him trying to become a better hero, him trying to do all this stuff, him handling the time travel like villains and all that. So I would want to do a story about that.
We have can we say something in the comments? Yes, of course, Nathan Childer. If you guys have an idea, go on. I think Wes is saying, hey, can we just keep tagging in? One drop out, one drops in to tell their story.
Works for me. If I need to go and someone needs to.
Yeah, I am an open dude, guys. So I am all about it, man.
Yeah.
My story. Now this is just what I came up with in my head here. My story would take place on a New York street when, my goodness, I'm having a hard time remembering villain team names.
What villains are on
Gosh. There's bad guys. It was just a big team.
You're dropping in and out, Aaron.
How about now?
I hear you just fine.
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay, so for some, I got to apologize, gang. My head is not working tonight. But dang it, there was an Avengers supervillain team who had all sorts of, and I am just blanking out. Anyway,
The Cabal?
what? No, it's from the 1970s. Anyway,
All right.
we're on a New York
The Masters
street.
of Evil.
Masters of Evil, thank you. The Masters of Evil show up and they are just terrorizing. You got Radioactive Man, you got Moon Girl, or
Moonstone.
whatever her name was. Moonstone, thank you. I am losing it because I'm trying to think of the story. Thank you, Wes Collins. And you've got all of them, the Weathermaster, Wizard, all of those. And the Avengers show up and their butts kicked. What Masters of Evil are tearing it apart, are just knocking them all over the place. And as the Avengers are looking as if they're having they're going to have their victory, you hear a big roar, and in comes a dinosaur, and on top of it is Moon Girl. The dinosaur knocks the Radioactive Man over to a building, and she says, "I'm the smartest girl in the world." And she starts saying, "Captain America, throw your shield at the water tower. It'll knock it over. It'll toss it down, and the water will go over Radioactive Man." And it puts out, "Tony Stark, Moon Girl's going to do. She's flying away. You use your repulsors." And her order. She orders the Avengers around, and she takes them down. And everybody's cheering, "Moon Girl, Moon Girl." Oh. And it backs off, and you see this little girl just looking off into space as her mother's carrying away, and she's got her dinosaur under her arm. I would have it. Bill Watterson, the dude, I believe he did Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah,
and I would make all of her adventures just like Franklin Richards outside of the Marvel Universe, and that would explain why she's the smartest girl in the world, why she can get away with doing the stuff she did. Also, why she could go to places like outer space. That would be my story.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that would be a nice way to bring them in and do whatever you want with them. You make it a kind of like one of those Elseworld things, pretty much.
Yeah, like she would be the Marvel Universe Walter Mitty, basically. So Wes Collins wanted to get in here. So if you can,
I will hop
couldn't
out.
find them.
I actually have to go tonight, so that's perfect.
All righty. Well, glad to have you. Glad to get your pick.
I'll make time
this will
for
be the section
Friday.
I think I'm cutting out here.
Gotcha. I will make time for Friday since you mentioned that, so I should be free Friday.
Everybody say goodbye or good night to Frugal. He's got a live stream tomorrow with just some guy, and then on Friday, the two of us and Chef Jack and promise a spot to Moriasha. We're going to be doing Keep or Kill on the comic books that only sell under 20,000.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about them and seeing if we'd like to keep them or time to cancel. Keep or cancel would be nicer, I think.
Yeah, I like that.
All righty,
Sounds
have a
little
good
nicer.
evening, Miss Captain Frugal.
All right, see you guys all later. Have a wonderful night.
Have fun.
Later.
Hello, Eglinton, and Chef Jack and
how are
Comics.
doing?
Actually surprised that I was actually be able to get on this stream tonight. I was like, whoa, okay.
Hey, this is all about the community, man. I like to
We are a welcoming bunch, man.
Yeah, I mean, before I just get anything, I just like to say in the chat.
Wait.
Hey,
Are
Marl,
you a diverse character? Because we can't have you on if you're a diverse character.
I actually have Asperger's
seriously.
syndrome, if you could believe that. I have.
Okay, yeah.
Autism. So I guess I would qualify. I'm not sure, but I'm a white guy, so I don't know if that would work.
Well, once again, it was well established. Marvel Comics doesn't care about the handicap heroes, so yeah, you don't count as diverse. All right. Anyway, you had a story to tell. What character?
I did.
Let's hear it.
I think I've actually mentioned in the chat a couple times, but Spider-Man. Thanks to Dan Slott, Spider-Man was killed off for me. But then I started to get into other Marvel characters that I fell in love with, and particularly I've been speaking about it all night. Daredevil. I also apologize.
Okay.
I talk really fast, and so I will need probably
cool. That saves time.
And I looked at it and I thought there's an element of Daredevil's life that Frank Miller and other people have expanded on, the idea that Jack Murdock was an alcoholic and then of course his mom Maggie went into a convent. in much later years. And while Mark Waid's kind of played with that a little bit, there's a little bit of a gap that they never really explored between when she left Jack and when she became a nun. And I had to ask myself, why?
I see.
It was just kind of one of those interesting things that never really got explored. And I thought, well, what if the reason she left was not just because of his alcohol abuse and all that? What if she was pregnant with a second child? And she left not just because, even though, you know, she couldn't just abandon and take Matt with her, what if she left to protect this second child, and that she tried to raise it in a way that Jack Murdoch wouldn't, but realized that she couldn't and abandoned it to an orphanage, and that kid grew up as a product of the streets? That he was very much like unlike Matt Murdock, who ultimately, even though he lost Jack, he still had Jack's influence, and he was raised, you know, through the system, and he eventually went through to Columbia University and became a lawyer, and met Foggy and his huge support system and became Daredevil. What if this kid had none of that? What if his life was literally just about survival, trying to make it to the next day? Your friends are only as good as the people who have your back on that particular morning. If they stab you in the back, well, too bad. And his life kind of mirrored Daredevil's in a really strange way, but he kind of had that because the whole nature nurture argument. What if, you know, he, just like Matt, gets a similar origin? He was protecting a friend who was getting, like, he actually jumps in the way and gets shot, survives, and then lands in a puddle that ironically turns out to be the same place that a couple of maybe days or even weeks or years earlier, Matt Murdock saved the person from the truck and got blinded. Because radiation takes years to friggin', you know, dissipate. It doesn't just, you know, go away overnight. It takes years. And so what if he got shot in the puddle and literally the radiation just soaked into his skin and turned him numb? And he gained similar abilities, but not quite to that of his brother, Matt Murdock. And so this kid, I called him Luke, but kind of to keep the biblical names intact because they're a Catholic family.
Makes sense.
So yeah, it makes sense. And so he grows up and he's numb, but his other four senses compensate for the fact that he can't actually feel anything. The guy can't feel any pain, although he can see when, you know, his like a limb's about to come off, or, you know, he can hear the bones cracking and all these other things. So he's kind of got like a radar sense in a similar fashion to that of Daredevil. And then I thought, what if he was trained, like much like, you know, how Matt Murdock was in Elektra, were the generation of the fighters. What if the Hand kind of saw this and went, that's not entirely true? And so they sent like Karigi or somebody, like a hand ninja, to train this kid to be their answer to Matt Murdock. Because they know about the Chaste and the Hand know about Matt Murdock in the same way they know about Elektra. They just did over the years because that's how Frank established it. So I thought, well, what if the Hand didn't really trust in this and had a third option, and they realized this third option was this kid? And so they trained him to basically fight just like Matt Murdock was trained to fight. And I kind of thought because he's numb, his fighting style would be drunken boxing, which kind of makes sense considering Jack Murdock was a drunken boxer. And it's also Kung Fu. Oh, yeah? So it all kind of blend together. But his fighting style is very much like the Hand. It's a brutal version of Daredevil. And then years later, he just, because of how he lived and how he lived through Hell's Kitchen, he kind of saw law enforcement and these concepts as things that got in his way because he couldn't live his life to the next day because he might have gotten arrested or whatever, and people who might have helped him. So he becomes a vigilante, similar to Daredevil, but instead of attacking criminals, he attacks cops. And I called him Crossout, and because he learns eventually that he's a Murdoch and that he's related to Daredevil, and he figures all that out because the Hand would have told him that. And so he literally takes a Daredevil costume, makes it all white, and removes the horns, gets rid of the devil imagery, and literally they call him an angel. Like the criminals call him like the angel of the kitchen kind of thing, because he literally saves their asses from getting shot the next and whatever. And so he's literally the antithesis of Daredevil. Instead of the two Ds, it's a halo with an X literally crossed out because he's been crossed out from the Murdoch lineage. And so he kind of, when he figures out all this together and that Daredevil's been active and basically keep his streets clean, well, he says, no, enough of that crap. It's like you know, the kind of the jealous brother, the Cain and Abel storyline, kind of keep the religious overtones, but keep that together. Because I've always liked the idea of sibling rivalry taken to the nth degree.
Yeah, we have no idea about sibling rivalry here. Yeah.
But
that's actually a pretty cool take. I like that take on Demon. Okay, what comics are you going to read this week? Is a question here. I'll get right to you, computer bots.
Well, you're gonna just throw it at me. Yes. Okay. I think I just.
No, that's that. I'm just acknowledging that there's a question there, and we're going to get to it because we're talking about this, and as soon as we're done, we're going to get to what books are coming out and such. Okay, go, Jack.
It's a good story, and I think it would do well, but it has very close parallels among the Catman background and the Hush background.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah, a lot of heroes do that and such. What do you think, Comics Division?
In regards to the story?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like the take on it. I really do. I like the idea of telling the story, really, of just finding out what happened to his mom. I mean, you can assume, I guess, if he's got an alcoholic father, who, boxer, maybe he's a little violent. Maybe she didn't like the life or something like that, and she moves on.
Was that something that was not explored in his backstory at all?
That was in Frank Miller's original run. That was
the fact that that she was a nun, yes, but how she got there wasn't really. So there you go, true believers. A whole bunch of pitches for a whole bunch of characters. What did you think? Did you enjoy? Which one was your favorite? Mine was right here, Amadeus Cho. I think Nerd Wonder kicked the crap out of it. However, I have read Chef Jack's as well, and his take is pretty cool. And I got to say that newcomer Wes Collins there knocked it out of the park with Daredevil. They were all good, but if I were to pick a favorite, I would have... Sorry, guys. Nerd Wonder wins this time around. Anywho, what did you think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, you want to see more, click like, share, of course. And if you haven't done this, just hit subscribe and that notification bell so you don't miss anything else. Also, we do have VIDME and Patreon, so head on over there, drop $1 in the till. Help us keep the lights on and help us keep making videos for you like this one, because we definitely enjoy doing this. We love having the live streams as well. And we'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.
Well, come on down to Gorilla City. We got all the gorillas you need. We got Gorilla Grodd, Solivar, and Beppo the Super Monkey. We got Congarella and Buana Beast, every super-powered monkey from the west to the east. Monsieur Mala and